welcome back to another edition of Silent Sirens. I'm your host, Thomas Orness, and today we're going to discuss another losing streak continues at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
We started the game out the way we wanted to. Going to the game, we got a stop right away and then scored. And then we didn't. We got one more stop the rest of the game, and that was it.
So I got to ask you first, are we going to be really nice, or are we going to be brutally honest like we said we were going to be at the beginning? Or since we don't have anybody we really need to keep happy? I mean, that was once we got into after that first series, and we got the ball back. We went down and drove for a 99-yard drive. I mean, then after that, we couldn't stop anything. It was brutal. I mean, first time in years that I changed the channel. I couldn't watch it anymore. I felt like I was watching McDermott basketball.
It was, I think, Dom Orange not being there was the biggest factor.
Yeah, and boy,
we cannot get a push up front.
Have you found anybody that's talked about it yet?
No, not a single person. So hopefully, I don't know. That's the thing about NCAA and the way the rules are. There's no incentive to give us any information.
Well, allegedly he got left behind in Ames.
Yeah, so not a good deal.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he's there Saturday, because that wasn't the only difference, but it sure didn't help any.
And Verdon being out most of the game, he played seven, like less than 15 snaps total, and he has an arm brace on him, and
he had an arm brace on the week before. Nobody knows what it is.
Like as a Campbell, we really haven't. That's what the testament to his recruiting and the developing players, that we really haven't had like a Paul Rhodes put another guy in and he just falls off the face of the sun.
Yeah,
and I think we found that out with Verdon's backup. The way I kind of compare it is the Niger Tribune factor. The guy who just gets thrown out there, and then just the rest of the game, they're just going after that one player, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, he ended up being our leading tackler, and and Campbell in his press conference spoke pretty highly of him. So I don't know what we obviously know nowhere close to the amount of football that our knowledge of football is anywhere close to what those guys are, but boy, it sure looked like they were picking on him. I mean, and I would too. I mean, he's a true freshman, right, or redshirt freshman, and first time in the lights, really.
And if you have that, if a player that's playing that poorly, it makes other players overcorrect to make up for the poor play. And with our defense, I don't think, especially with them being able to just stand there behind their offensive line for 40 seconds, that's just not going to work.
And their quarterback was on too. I mean, he had a great day, and there was a reason that by game time it was a 2-point spread. I mean, so Vegas is a believer in Kansas because they're playing at BYU this week, and it's a 3-point spread against the team that's projected to be the third seed in the playoffs. So they, Kansas has got players. I mean, we said that last week, and unfortunately, we played about as bad of 3 quarters as we could play, and we lost by 9.
That's what's frustrating about this team is everything up to this point has gone our way. There's a second half where we've kind of been behind the 8 ball, but we've kind of stormed back with our offense, and our defensive has played similar to the John Haycock's style, where we can trust our defense to get stops over and over and over again and wait for our offense to wake up. But now that our offense can't have we had that long drive, but it was kind of just our defense was out there the entire game. And when you have freshmen and your 5th and 6th string linebackers, and your leader, one of the leaders of the defense, is not even on the bus or on the plane to go down to Kansas City.
Yeah,
because Dom Orange is a huge energy guy of getting push, and he's the type of player where we don't get those type of level players at Iowa State who can make a huge difference right away, which he did. And just with a 3-man front, it's really important to have a guy in the middle to make a push, and we don't have that, and they can run 9 yards down the field.
Yeah, Singleton was doing everything he could. I mean, he was trying to be a verbal leader on the sideline too. I mean, you saw that on TV, but it was just so disappointing. I mean, but let's be real. I mean, we haven't played very well for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, we've been kind of skating by.
Yeah, I mean, we could have easily lost the UCF game. We should have won the Texas Tech game, but still didn't play very well. And when we started coming back in the fourth quarter, I said, is Kansas going to do this? I mean, they've lost a lot of games in the fourth quarter, and I think they started to act that way. And I'm not sure where I was at thought-wise in the time frame, but I think then the pick six happened. If I remember right. I don't know if that's true or if that's the right time frame, but
I haven't rewatched it. I haven't rewatched any second of the highlights or whatever.
Cause I haven't watched.
Some of my memory could be wrong. If I apologize, but couldn't pay me to rewatch that stuff.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, I didn't want to watch it the first time. I mean, I got so mad I switched it over to Rogue One for a while. I mean, it was just painful, but we still have a chance to have everything out in front of us, but
our defense
we have to take it one possession at a time at this point, and maybe we get somebody back this week. I don't know. I mean, I thought Bramer was coming back last week. He didn't come back. I don't know. I've heard rumors that Will McLaughlin might be coming back. I don't know. I have no idea what the status of Verdon is. And Freeler is playing, with one arm basically. I mean, God love that guy. I mean, he is a warrior. I mean, he's got 4 games left in his career. I don't know. He's done with football after this, I'm pretty sure.
And just watching the last game kind of makes me worried for next year. Because if we lose Bo Freeler, who knows, if Jeremiah Cooper can go somewhere or –
well, I mean,
that's when things just fall off the face of the sun.
Yeah, and that's the way it's going to be. I mean, but it could happen tomorrow. I mean, could have guys who just punch out and say, well, we're not in the playoffs anymore, so we're not. Well, there's no chance of us getting the playoffs, so I'm done. I mean, that's the way it's going to be in the NIL world. That's just the way it is.
UNLV kid.
Yeah.
4 weeks in, it's I'm done.
Yeah. Punched out
for next year, and
unfortunately, that's going to happen in bowl games. I mean, you're going to have so many guys punch out before the bowl games and not play. I mean, so I don't know. I hope we got to trust our culture. I mean, Matt has put his heart and soul into this thing, and he's still a good man. And in contrast, I try to listen to opponents' podcasts before we do this, and I listen to a couple of Cincinnati ones, and one of them I think the title was Pitchforks for Sederberg. I mean, they were this guy's ready to get rid of him tomorrow. I mean, they're just
coach?
Yes. Just so frustrated with him, saying, well, he'll never get above 6 and 7 wins. And, just ripping on the team. And I turned on the next one and they're all doom and gloom. I said, you guys aren't freaking Alabama for crying out loud. I mean,
they have better history than, I guess. I don't know. They had pretty decent history.
Yeah, and I mean they're a good team, and they've got players, but
at least their fan base cares. Versus Kansas,
how long has he been there? 3 years.
But they had Luke, the guy, the Wisconsin's old coach, and they're in
Fickle.
They're in the playoff, so they've made a playoff, so their ego is pretty damn high. Imagine if we made a playoff and we're playing crappy. We even made a playoff. We were one drive away from winning a Big 12 championship in 2020, but other than in the most irrelevant year you possibly be good, obviously.
But I mean, it's not like they're getting blown out. I mean, they played with Colorado, could have won, and West Virginia is playing much better than they were than when we played them, and so that one hurt, I think. And they only beat UCF by 6. They lost to Texas Tech by 3. So it's not like they're getting blown out. And Texas Tech's a good team. I mean, Colorado obviously is good. West Virginia is much better. I mean, but they've got a.
I couldn't name you one player off in Cincinnati's team. Not one player.
Satterfield that's their coach. Sosberg, is that his name? The quarterback. I mean, he's been around the block a few times,
but he's not well known like Rocco or.
No. Well, I mean, but I don't think Rocco's that well known outside of our circle. I mean,
he's more. He gets more love because of his dad with ESPN.
But he's also when we were when we're undefeated, you got Nick Saban talking about him on game day. So I mean, I don't know. I just get irritated with I could go really negative on this if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I mean, I'm frustrated like everybody else is, and I feel bad for everybody that made the trip down there and had to and paid a lot of money to watch that. I mean, that's the difference is that. We used to always make the excuse that, these kids aren't getting paid and, they're amateur athletes. Well, there's a lot of money involved in this thing now. And so expectations should be higher.
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people that went down there, and your sister included, and it's an expensive thing to take your kids down there.
We lost by one possession.
I know that.
We didn't lose by 40.
I know that, but we played a team that had two wins.
So every loss they had was.
I'm
close.
not. I don't disagree with
you. Ranked higher than us in preseason. We're way younger than them.
No, trust me. I'm not throwing. I have not anywhere in the even neighborhood of saying that I'm mad at Campbell. I'm not anywhere in the neighborhood of giving up on this team. But if we're going to be seriously in the playoff conversation, we have to win those games. We can't come out and perform like that, especially over the last 3 weeks. I mean, we came off a bye week and didn't play very well. We didn't play very well in the UCF game, and obviously we didn't play well this week. So we're staring at it 4 weeks in a row. If we don't play well this weekend, we're about a month of crappy football.
In a weird way, I think it's a good thing for us. I'd rather us make the playoff when we're legit and we could stare straight to Texas or Georgia or whoever's coming into Ames, or we're going there and actually can compete. Because if we, like game against Kansas, against UCF, and against Texas Tech, we're going to lose by 70 like TCU. And then we're going to be just buried. And we'll be remembered as the team that lost by 70. Doesn't matter what happened in the regular season before. TCU's brand, I don't even know if they even elevated their brand to go in the championship game and losing by 70.
Well, they haven't played. They haven't played very well since. I mean, what are they? What's TCU
I know, but
right now? They're 6-4.
They still went there and did it.
Right, but it's not like they followed it up with a really good year. We could follow it up with a really good year. We get in the playoffs and then maybe build off of that, and helps recruiting and portal stuff and all that kind of stuff.
That's probably what they thought too.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just a different game.
Yeah,
because let's just say we make it to the bright spot, the amount of money that our players are going to get offered is going up 10x if we make it to the big stage.
No, that's
true. No matter how good they are.
Yeah, it's true.
And then we'll just have to manage that. But obviously,
then we're gonna have to manage it anyway.
I know, but
I mean,
we have to know what's going to happen before it happens. Because this football team, I think it's better for our sophomores and freshmen that are going to be there next year, rather than them just going to an SEC school where they're going to be the 7th guy on the roster making $700,000.
But I also think I don't know if it was Williams and Bloom or somebody that said it, that we can talk about us worrying about the Jeremiah Coopers of the world or Dominic Oranges of the world getting offers to go somewhere else. Well, Texas has somebody sitting on the bench that would probably love to come start in Ames if they're not going to play at Texas.
Yeah,
I mean, so it's gonna go both ways. I mean, it's just gonna be a different type of recruiting. I mean, it's frustrating for us as fans to see our staff land really good players and develop them and then have them leave.
Which hasn't happened really yet.
Right, but it could, and it probably will with somebody.
That's just the fear in my mind.
Right, but there's also, now we're to the point where we have to identify kids on other teams that aren't getting the playing time because of who they're playing behind that could possibly help us. I mean, that's just a different type. It's insane. Yeah, I mean,
you're already looking for JUCOs. You're looking for high school recruits.
You wonder why Tony Bennett, Mike Krzyzewski,
and Farley,
Roy Williams, Farley. I mean, go down the list of the guys Nick Saban that punched out, said, "I don't want to deal with this shit. There's no way."
But who's holding on? Mac Brown. Not sure how.
Mac has got enough money. He doesn't care.
Right, he's still there.
Yeah, I mean, he's just saying, you know what? If I win, I win. If I don't, hell with it. I mean, I'll just go. I'll go put my feet up and sit next to.
He's got to be in his late 70s.
Oh, right? He was a coach. He was a coach at Ames in '79, I think. Wow. So yeah,
but yeah, sports changing, and I think it's kind of hard to watch as a fan because you just things are so different in 12-team playoff, and I think that's what's kind of made, because you're an old Iowa State fan and I'm kind of an old Iowa State fan. You just called
me old.
Just based on we went through the trenches, right? We were god awful.
Oh yeah,
god awful.
That's what I was having. I was having PTSD Saturday.
But you, in 2003 when we won one game, you probably stuck it out and watched the whole game.
But sure. I was still looking forward to Saturdays because I got to watch Iowa State football, even though we sucked.
But 6 things go wrong in a row, we start throwing hissy fits.
Right.
And turning the channel to Rogue One.
Right.
But I know it's just, we get so excited, and ESPN's pumping the whole, everything's about the playoff thing, but
that's the way, yeah.
But we still have to build up to that. we're still we had the Brock Purdy stage, and we survived the gambling hole that people kind of just scoff at. That was not that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
We survived.
No, we thought that was over.
Imagine if that had been Gene Chizik or Paul Rhodes or any of the former, we would have been
McCarney.
Losing 0 games
Jim
to like 2 wins for 5 years just to get back where we used to be. But we survived it. We have Rocco Becht, who's one of the best. Obviously he's running for his life now and doesn't really have like a reliable run game. And I think we still have a first-year OC who he has a lot of talent. But I think when things go wrong, I think that's when Campbell's, or not just Campbell, but we just kind of go back to where we're comfortable with versus like we're trying to advance or change what our offensive was from the past, or what do we want to see in the future with Rocco and just like a different style. And I think with our tight ends being hurt too, it's not helping.
Yeah, what's
Burkle's hurt.
Moore was out too.
They're all hurt.
Yeah,
and it's just we're getting
a little bit of snake bite going on.
Yeah, just a lot of important roles in our offense. Like our tight ends are very important in our offense and the way our scheme. And when things are going well, we need them healthy and give us an extra push on offense, because we don't exactly have an Alabama or Texas offensive line where we can bully everyone. We'll never be like that.
No,
we were like that kind of in the early beginning of the season.
Speaking of which, I've had. I'm going to change the subject just for a second, but I've had many conversations with football guys saying, when I was in high school, an offensive lineman in high school was about 200 pounds, maybe 220, and now they're 250, and the college guys are 6'7", 300 pounds. I just saw a thing pop up on my Instagram of like 5 high school players that are in high school today, and a couple of them are offensive linemen that are 7 foot, 400 pounds. This is where this is headed.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not that far away from that being the norm of offensive linemen being 6'11", 7 foot, 7'1", 400 pounds.
But
one of them's a running back. He's 6'7", like 380.
Well, there's not more 6'11", 7-footers out there. They're not growing them more.
No, but my point is, and we've talked about this before, is that they always say that kids get their height from their mom. And so if you've got a tall woman, she typically finds somebody at least her height.
Yeah.
They're going to have a kid that's taller than the mom, typically. That kid is going to marry somebody that's taller than them if it's a female.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying that as time goes on, we're getting bigger and bigger kids. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, we have somebody that we know that's a 6'6" female that's got 2 children. Her husband is 6'7". You think her kids are going to be 5'8"?
They're not going to be. They'll be 6'7", not 300 pounds. But
they could be. I mean, but they're not going to be it's not going backwards. Is what I'm saying. Is that they're not going to have a girl that's 5'3".
Yeah.
I mean, if they have a girl, it's going to probably be at least 6. So that's where. So to get back to your point, I mean, we're talking about the offensive line. Is that we don't have Alabama's offensive line, obviously, but I think we're dinged up there. We're dinged up at the tight end, and I think Hanson's dinged up. Abu played, he has been having his moments lately. So, and then Jackson had a great touchdown trying to help us get back in, and when he threw him a pass and he juked a guy that probably still laying on the field at Arrowhead.
And he had a good kick return too.
Yeah.
Obviously, kind of nailed him the last podcast, and he had one of the best games he's had.
Right. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. I mean, I didn't nail him. You did. I think he's still going to have his moments.
There's so many times where it's just like you can blame the bad scheme or bad play on the player if they just get a running play that goes for -3 yards like 70 times in a row. Like it's not. I don't know.
Well, look at David Montgomery when he was here. He was getting hit in the backfield all the time, and there were probably people questioning how good he was. And I never did.
Before David, our best running back was Troy Davis.
Yeah.
So we had like a
Troy and Darren
18 or 15-year gap there of. We had decent running backs, but not like elite NFL running backs.
But David wasn't getting the room to run that he's getting with the Lions.
No, that's why
he's showing exactly what he could have been here if he would have had a little bit better offensive line.
Yep.
I don't know. We're kind of going in circles, but we just need. I mean, we need to forget about the frickin' playoff crap, Big 12 championship, and just win the next game, win the next series, win the next quarter. We need to. Fans need to show up, and I know that's. we're not going to be probably full Saturday. I mean, that's just a very Iowa State fan thing to do. It's going to happen because we're not playing very well. But I still think it'll be a good crowd. I just don't think I don't think it's going to be Baylor crowd.
My whole childhood, I was still every time I appalled how many fans would show up when we were absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
But so if we can still go to the Big 12 championship. We just went out and Colorado loses one game.
Yep.
We can make the Big 12. We can still have everything in front of us, and we can get healthy. And it just sucks with the last two games where if we just survive those two somehow, we can have just
I know that like Jelly Roll says, the windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason, but it is hard not to look back and think, we pulled that Texas Tech game out. Yeah. We're in a different frame of mind today, even if we play that bad against Kansas. We're in a different frame of mind today than we were if we were sitting on.
But the way their defense played against Kansas last week, it doesn't matter how healthy we get in the future. No. We need to get that figured out because
do you think the
tackles, the amount of miss assignments, just receivers being open by 20 yards,
wide open, yeah, and Freeler, I think like I talked about. After the game, I think Freeler was trying to come up and help some of the young kids, and then he got burned over the middle because he wasn't honoring the pass, and somebody got behind him. And I don't know. I mean, we still have a chance. I mean, maybe we just need to, get the frame of mind. We want to get to what you said at the beginning of the year. It goes, you just want 9 wins or 10 wins. 10 wins. So still possible.
I'd rather just give me 10 wins over even a Big 12 championship appearance. Like a playoff appearance, I just want the 10 wins.
It's a big step forward.
And then we can move from there. Because then all the jokes, you can't say Iowa State, because I think it's us and Vanderbilt are the only schools in the country in the Power 4 that has never won 10 wins. Indiana won 10 wins last weekend for the first time.
I think maybe I'm just going by past history, but I don't think Indiana can win out. I'm not sure Colorado can either. I mean, I know that Colorado's loaded, but at some point they're going to go. I mean, you still see those guys yelling at each other when things don't go right, and there's going to be one of those games where things aren't going exactly right the way they want, and things can go south on them fast. I mean,
but they've played a lot better than I thought they would.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
Shadur Sanders is going to be a top 10 pick. You got
So somebody put social media about Dion in a Louisiana State hat.
Oh, yeah. I
wonder if once Shadur's gone, what he ends up doing.
I think he stays. And
you think so?
Continues on because
I don't know. He followed his kid everywhere.
He's not going to go. The NFL is different from college. They don't just drop coaches just to put their dad in. It's a completely different business.
Right. I know.
This is an AU. They've turned college.
But it is Deion Sanders.
I know, but
and the Cowboys suck right now.
That's true.
And Jerry Jones I'm guarantee you, still has Dion on speed dial.
But they gave Dak a long extension when they know he sucks, and
I don't know.
$60 million.
Jerry Jones got a lot of money.
Yeah, $60 million a year just to watch a guy on the sidelines. It's a lot of money.
It'll be interesting to see how Utah handles Colorado this week, because Utah, they think they pretty much get screwed this weekend, and
but if we were in the Utah situation, we would be doing the exact same thing.
We have done the same thing,
but that was a different angle. We were the little guy getting screwed over by the refs. Utah looks as himself as the guy.
Yeah, they're not.
And they were not. They're not.
Boy, talk about a disappointment. They come in the season ranked top 10, and we're worried about them, thinking that game in Utah is going to be a big game, and man, they're on borderline irrelevant right now.
They've only one Big 12 win. Yeah, I don't know. It's the first year of a new conference, and I'm so used to playing a round robin, and playing everyone, but it's just a new league, and I wish we played Colorado. I'd rather play Colorado than Cincinnati this weekend. It'd be so much better for ratings, but Cincinnati. And Cincinnati fans or coaches or whatever were kind of complaining about our grass and how everyone slips on it. And
our grass?
Yeah. And
they're from the Midwest, for crying out loud. They could be playing in snow in Cincinnati.
But if it's turf, then they complain about that gives a lot of injuries too. Right. So pick your poison.
Yeah. And turf isn't completely slip free when it's wet. I mean, it's gonna be some dew on the ground at night in Jack Trice on Saturday night. So there's going to be some people slipping around. So that's just part of it's football, for crying out loud. It shouldn't be played on artificial turf anyway. That's my opinion.
And I don't know. What do you think we need to do on Saturday? I haven't watched a second of Cincinnati this year. I don't know their play
I've
style.
watched them a little bit. I mean, they've got athletes. I mean, they're in Ohio. I mean, they have a recruiting base pretty close they've got a lot of athletes in that state. I mean, Miles Menazun was from there. I mean, he knows, he knows what Ohio football is like, and when we talk to him, and so they're going to be good. I mean, if you think we're going to come in and just completely clobber them, I think you're crazy. I mean, but I think
we got to be up. We got to give up. We got to get up 14-0 or just like a huge momentum push for the crowd. Because if some things go wrong right away, like the crowd is just going to be out of it for most of the game.
Well, I think Cincinnati is one of those teams that can make a lot of mistakes. I mean, and that's the thing that could be our saving grace is they throw a pick six, fumble, whatever. I mean,
but with our mistakes,
think of the Baylor game, for crying out loud. I mean, think of Caden's, scoop and score, how big of a play that was, just momentum-wise. I mean,
right moment, right time. But right now, our players are not in the right spots.
Yeah, so it doesn't
even matter if they make mistakes. Like, imagine if
I don't know,
Kansas quarterback could have underthrown the receivers by like 15 yards, and it could have still not mattered, and they still scored.
Yeah,
some of those touchdowns they had was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they could have just jogged in the touchdown.
A couple of them were. It was like that circle on video games. It's
kind of bad when they catch the ball and you can't even see the defender in the camera angle. You have to zoom out to see.
That happened. Yeah,
it's a bummer. But
I mean, we're gonna have to suffer. I mean, Hansen we think is pretty dinged up. I mean, so he's not going to get healthy anytime soon, having to play every single game. I mean, we need him desperately. Yep. I mean, and we need Dominic Orange to be playing. We need to get healthy on the offensive line. It'd be great if we got one of our linebackers back. Be great if Bramer came back, but since we don't know, there's no injury report, we'll know when John Walters tells us.
Yep, and it just sucks that I don't know. I think this also the frustration with our fan base. I feel like is because with the Campbell era, we're so used to sucking at the very beginning of the season, and then the good times are in the end of the season.
Right
now that we went 7-0, and we have a lot more tape on our young guys who have a lack of experience. I think that's kind of happening. I think we were able to outcoach. Like John Haycock was been able to outcoach the other team even with our injuries, but now the injuries have caught up with us. And I think I trust in John Haycock. He's a top 5 defensive coordinator in the nation. And if there's anyone who can figure it out, it's him.
He needs to earn his money this week. That's for sure.
I think he just if nothing's working out, like if things that continue like they were against Kansas, just throw junk at him. Start blitzing every play.
Oh, I think especially if we're still dealing with a lot of injuries, I think we're going to probably see a change this week. I mean, a scheme of some type.
Or just keep rotating more players.
Tyson Veit or whatever his name is their defensive coordinator, and he runs the same thing we're running, so they know us inside and out. So we're going to have to do something different. I mean, DK McDonald's a coach at Kansas. I mean, some of our kids thought they were looking in the mirror with some of the stuff they were running. So we're going to have to shake it up a little bit to show them something that we haven't shown them before. So is Jontez Williams hurt?
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't remember even thinking about him Saturday.
I've given up even thinking about who's injured, who's not, because we don't know. There's no injury report, so why try to...
Well, we can tell by looking to see on the stats, so maybe I can find it. Yeah, I don't know. John, he's been a huge bright spot in our secondary.
He had 4 straight games with interception.
Yeah. And I don't remember even hearing his name Saturday.
I don't know.
He had 2 tackles. I mean, I don't know if he went out, but I mean, Verdon had 1. Jacob Ellis had 1. I mean, we've had, and I think Sadowski's even dinged up a little bit too. So yeah, our freshman Sean James was the leading tackler because he had a lot of opportunities to get a tackle.
Yeah, this guy was 15 yards down the field.
But, yeah.
Well, I don't know. He could still be a great player.
Oh, I think he's a freshman for crying out loud. I mean, jeez.
We're so used to Jeremiah Cooper coming out there and be like, oh, he's our best player on defense. So,
right.
Freeler went out there and just thrived right away. But it's so glaring when the new guy comes in and just plays awful, it's just really hard to overcome that. But I think he could do that easily.
Excuse me. Well, Berzina, you know, we were looking forward to him this year, and he didn't play many snaps Saturday. So, I mean,
he's hurt too.
He's hurt too. I mean, so when Rylan Barnes had 6 tackles and Bo Freeler, our safety, has 6 tackles, and luckily we have the 3 guys from the 3 small-town Iowa kids playing linebacker. I mean, Rylan and Bo Goodwin and Cooper Ebel. I mean, all from Northwest Iowa.
We're getting a lot of good experience, even though we might be giving up a lot of points and. It's just giving up 45 points to Kansas.
You're right. You read my mind. That's exactly right.
Egregious.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. But Bo Freeler said it in his press conference, and he's the team leader. So it's not like they don't have a guy in the locker room not yelling at everyone, because Bo Freeler, if you look at him, he's probably doing that.
If I was on one of his teammates, he'd been intimidating as hell.
But
I would never criticize that kid. I mean, he's playing hurt.
Yeah,
he's playing with one arm. I mean,
he's everything he wants.
He could be an MMA fighter. He looks like one. So I've said that many times. So yeah, I don't know. We just need to come out and figure it out. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And regardless what happens, we're still Cyclone fans. So.
Yep, and still. Yeah, we just need to keep showing up in Jack Trice and making the fans just need to keep showing up, because we need to keep doing our part. If we need to, there needs to be a home field advantage that makes a difference. Because if there's not, and if they're the Cincinnati coaches are saying the field's crappy and we can't get footing, and that's where I'm worried. If we can't get a push on defense and we're just getting mauled on. The run game, that's where we can't really recover from that.
I think Kansas can run it, but I don't think they can stop the run very good either. So who knows? I mean, we just need to win. It's just I know that's an oversimplification, but that's just the bottom line.
We're out of bye weeks.
The one thing that when watching the 49ers game and Tom Brady was the announcer, the one thing that really jumped out at me is he was saying he said great teams get better as the season goes on. And unfortunately, right now,
we're just
because of one reason or another, injuries or whatever. I mean, we're just not right now.
We can't even get 3 games along together without just losing a huge part of our team.
Yeah,
and that's kind of hard to build off of, and especially if Dom Orange is not even going to be in the bus and there.
Yeah,
if him is not even injury related, that's another.
No, it's not,
and another whole fiasco to deal with.
But I think he's playing Saturday, so. Sounds hopefully. Like he is anyways.
Because he's a difference maker, and I think he's an NFL player type.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, my immediate thought it goes that he's getting phone calls from somebody, and he might be a guy that's punching out, but that's not the case.
But he is.
That's what I get worried.
We know he is.
What?
There's no rule.
Oh, I know he's getting called. I know. What I'm saying is he was going to pull a UNLV quarterback thing on us or something.
Who was that guy? A long time ago, I can't remember his name. There was a backup. It was in 2020 who was a great player, D tackle. Can't remember his name. He transferred.
I don't remember.
So many players that go through our program that, especially nowadays.
Nowadays, it's impossible. How can you write that Anthlon thing, the preseason thing? I mean, they write those articles in April and May. I mean,
I don't know.
Why would you even bother getting one of those things anymore?
It's different.
You
want
to move on to hoops?
Yep, we can talk basketball. Biggest news of the day was jock jams are no longer.
I saw your Twitter post.
Sad.
There's a couple of people said they were missing it.
Yeah.
Said, oh my God.
Because it's the last thing that was from my childhood in Hilton. And it's just gone.
Yeah. And the nuts are not there. I was looking for them. Did laps around. I couldn't find them.
And take away the jock jams. But you give me a top 10 team, I'm not going to play.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And
I'm sure TJ and the staff had a lot to do with it. The new intro looks kind of cool.
Yep.
I would want as much old footage as possible to get the old people fired up.
Yep.
And
I think the one thing I might have said this last year is that running out of the tunnel to a non-fight song drives me crazy, because that was part of the Hilton tradition. As soon as you saw the kids coming out of the tunnel, whatever they were doing would stop and they'd start playing the fight song and everybody go crazy. And we had to wait till they did almost one full layup line before they started playing the fight song. And
the flags have gotten a lot smaller. They used to be huge.
Yeah.
We're really nitpicking here. But.
No, I mean, but we've been there. We know the tradition. I mean,
but the tradition's winning and showing up for the Cyclones.
Right.
It's just those little things.
But I went through there and I walked around Hilton and I ran into people that have been going to Iowa State games since the 70s.
Yep.
And I guarantee you that they feel the same way. I mean, because there's just something about that place when you walk in that, you know, if all of a sudden, you know, they completely changed the seating or did something really goofy or took out, you know, it was and changed the whole experience, everybody would be complaining because it's not the way Hilton's built. So,
but if we're running, no one's going to care.
Yeah, that's right.
Those nitpicky things are from the Greg McDermott era, the Wayne Morgan era, the era where we really were holding on to like the Tinsley and Pfizer and the end of the Floyd era, which I think we're in a completely new era. We just signed a top 10 recruiting class today.
Yeah.
Which Michael's like, oh yeah, I completely forgot we had a top 10 recruiting class. I was like, yeah. Good times are happening when you forget we're having a top 10 recruiting class.
I watched Kansas play a little bit last night.
Yep.
They don't scare me at all. No. They've got a lot of the same faces in last year. They got a couple new ones like Zeke Mayo transferred there, the kid from South Dakota State. But I just look at our lineup and, you know, in our rotation, our top 8 is excluding our new freshman, Nojus. I know I'm butchering your name, dude. Sorry. And Nojus and Demarion Watson. Those are our first 2 guys in garbage time right now.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, they'd start on a lot of teams. I mean,
they probably start on 50% of the Big 12.
Yeah,
the Big 12 is the best conference in the whole nation.
And I think, you know, they're going to have their moments. I mean, we're going to have somebody, you know, turn an ankle or something where they're going to get out there. But to tell you what, that freshman looks like he belongs. I mean, he comes in and he's not shy about firing it up. I think he can guard a little bit. He's just a little he's 18 years old or whatever he is. He's not as put together as Heisey. Heisey's a man. I mean, he's the leading scorer from UNI last year. So, I mean, he's seen a lot of basketball. So, but I can see moments where we're going to need a little more offensive punch than Heisey can bring, and they might possibly. I mean, I don't know that much about Heisey, to be honest with you, but
we have so much offense. Like Milan, Curtis Jones, like Gilbert could be a first-team All-American. If you want to say.
Yeah.
He's
good. Thicker. He's really, he's a lot stronger.
And the way he falls, I'm just like, dude, how is that not injure you every single time? But he gets up and keeps on going, and, man, he flings it around. And
him and Lipsy both are on the floor way too much.
I know. The way Lipsy falls, I'm just like, dude, you just fall on the same shoulder you've been hurt the entire career, but I don't know. Maybe he needs to practice. Like, I think LeBron actually practices falling.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, but Lipsy, you can't complain about Lipsy because it's weird because I don't think he's going to play as much. He's going to be not as much minutes as last year, and I think that'll help his health-wise and not get dinged up as much as last year because Curtis Jones, Gilbert's been mostly playing point guard, like having the ball in his hands because he makes some careless passes, but we're going to have that.
It's only second game of the season. I mean,
Tinsley averaged 5 turnovers a game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll take.
But those don't make the highlight film.
But I think Gilbert is the Tinsley of this team. Like,
Taman's been turning it over more than he normally does so far.
Yeah, but we're playing against. the Kansas City Roos we're
better.
We're a lot better. I think they could be a tournament team in March if everything goes well because they have a lot of offensive and long players. They had a really long player come off the bench and really give us trouble. And
Jamar Brown was a good player. He was first team All Summit League last year and wasn't shy about shooting it, that's for sure. But, what can he say about Deshaun? Deshaun is a man.
Yep.
And when I say this, please don't take it as disrespect for Rob Jones, but, man, from a post-move standpoint, and him and Chatterfield, am I pronouncing
Chatfield.
Chatfield. Chatfield is I had the coach from Cincinnati in my head too. Are both, upgrades in the post. So I was watching Kansas thinking about, when Deshaun matches up against Hunter Dickinson, if they call it tight and all of a sudden the refs decide they're going to be Kansas fans that night, at least we have more big bodies we can come out and throw at Hunter Dickinson too. So, Deshaun is a game changer because he's got great hands. He's a massive human being, and we have for one of the first times we've had, if we're having offensive problems, we can just throw it to the post player and just say go to work. get us something, get to the line, do something. I mean, we haven't had that many for quite a while.
If they double team him, they have Keyshawn, Chris Jones, or Milan.
Curtis Jones is
so
oh
good.
my God, he looks fantastic today, the second game of the season. I mean,
Chris Jones and Kurt Jones, like Gilbert and Chris Jones they could be starting on any team in the country.
Yeah, and
Arizona, Kansas,
show me a better
Kentucky.
guard duo than those two.
When they're on at the same time, there's no stopping them.
There was a moment on Monday night. Curtis was the basket was about the size of a swimming pool. I mean, he was just throwing it in anytime he wanted to. And I listened to on the drive home. I was listening to those guys interviewing him, and they asked him about not starting because he started the first game, didn't start this game. Milan started, and he really doesn't really seem like he cares. I mean, he's going to get starter minutes regardless. I mean,
he's the one getting interviewed at the. If he's the one getting interviewed after the game,
right?
What do you have to really complain about? Yeah.
So that's funny. We're getting back to football just for a second. We were watching Campbell's press conference, and then the one girl asked the last question and says, "Coach, what's wrong with your defense?" And then
he's like, "Their defense."
He was trying to clarify it, and that didn't you tell me it's Miles Menazune's sister?
It sounded like it.
Oh my God! Because she's the one that's doing the sideline reporting for basketball.
Yep, they just have a student do it, and
it was one of those questions that you would ask if you were sitting there, Coach, why does this suck? I mean, it was so blunt.
Hey, Jamie, why turn on the lights in Hilton?
right. Yeah, no, it's no. I mean, if you're not excited about Iowa State basketball, you're taking the wrong drugs or something. Because man, we're loaded. We can play with anybody. We're gonna find out real fast where we're at when we go to Maui because it's a long flight. Got to get over there, get used to the time change. You're in Maui for crying out loud, but then you're playing all of these big time teams and
we have guards that can travel and
luckily we can play. Defense is something that we can rely on all the time. And so, I mean, if I had a prediction about how Maui's going to go, we might struggle. I could see us struggling on offense. But the thing is, the defense is going to keep us in games.
Where we see teams just throw the ball out of bounds and throw it to us and give us the ball. And yeah, Maui's. I wish it was just in Hilton or in America. It's in America. Obviously,
this is for the kids. I mean,
but those big games should be in Hilton or. We could sell out those games rather than in a high school gym, and it's for the ESPN and all that.
Well, all of what Maui's been through the last 2 years is that I don't have any problem helping the economy of Maui.
But I'm just saying,
nobody else is paying attention. I'm
saying as a season ticket holder, I'd rather.
No, I get you. Yeah, I get you. Yeah,
and but
I tell you, our seats we're in the 13th row of the balcony, and there really is not a bad seat in Hilton.
Oh, especially that new screen.
I've paid way too much money to sit in the arena circle sometimes, and it's a, I didn't even look at the screen that much. It's just I just think it's a one of those special places. Is there's really not a bad seat in the place. I mean, I was talking to somebody that if you donate enough to go into Johnny's, people are standing in line for an hour to get a beer in Johnny's. Why in the hell is that happening? I mean, would you want to go? Have the privilege of going to Johnny's, but then you can't even sit at a table and talk to anybody. You're standing in line the whole freaking time.
Yeah, I mean, know.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'll never have enough money to give enough money to get in Johnny's. I think you got to give $12.5 to get in there now.
Oh man,
yeah. For the men, I think I don't remember what it is for women because your grandma's been in Johnny's and we've never been there.
I've been there.
Did you have somebody give you bands one time or something?
Last year in non-conference game.
Yeah, I think they've increased the number of people that they allow in there now too. So supposedly they're going to build something new.
I have no idea.
So they're going to move Johnny's to Sheeman, I think, because remember we used to go to Sheeman when you were a kid.
Yeah.
They're going to do something over there and then make it like Johnny's like a suite or something.
Until Sci-Town's done, I don't think they're doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's a good point.
Because that's where all the money's going.
Yeah.
Because that's what Jamie wants to get done.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Jamie's done.
Jamie punches out,
Which that'll be kind of a great gift to give Iowa State.
Sure. He's given us a lot of gifts so far.
Yes.
I mean, he's got us. Yeah, that's a podcast by itself.
Yep.
Start with Jamie Pollard year one and
obviously,
go from there.
There's a lot of people that give him a lot of grief for
but he's an
decisions.
AD. All the high school ADs get a lot of grief. I mean,
but they just think he can just have a magic wand and make every decision the way he has to. He's working for someone else. Like he's not just on there making all decisions. Like,
Right.
there's probably a bunch of people behind him that said, no beer at the stadium. We're not doing it. Like, I think because like you have to increase security, and the DMAC baseball players and softball players are the ones doing the security.
Sam Tverdick is one of the guards.
Yeah,
I was texting him. He's a retired teacher from my high school that was my high school baseball coach, and he's one of the guys wearing those gray shirts.
Yeah, you're not going to have these security, like 18, 19-year-old kids going in there swinging with the 40-year-old, 50-year-old men fighting over our PAT kicks missing or something.
Right. I mean, you want some entertainment. When you see the social media posts of what's going on in some of these NFL games, did you see the 49ers guy fall over after the game? He fell through like 4 rows down.
There's so many videos.
Oh, my God. It's horrible.
Too many videos like that to keep track.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, we should be excited about basketball. There's no doubt. I mean, I think it looks like we're healthy so far. I mean, I think TJ, we have a lot of moments where TJ can show him film to try to get us a little better. And I think, it's lining up perfectly, in my opinion, that we get these 3 games that we should handle the teams, but we still have moments where there's teachable moments till we get into the big boys with North Carolina and whoever we see in Maui, Auburn.
If we don't
Hopefully we don't have to turn the plane around because players are fighting. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, they still won.
Yeah.
Beat Houston, but yeah. We got a team, but I don't know. It'll be a while till take away Maui. It's going to be a long time, and we play Iowa, and then we don't play a real team until
play Marquette. Don't
Marquette.
We? Yeah, play Marquette.
Yeah,
is that what's his name still?
Shaka Smart.
Shaka.
Yeah, that'll be a good game.
Yeah,
good
That's
game.
in Ames, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And it helps with Wisconsin recruiting.
Yep.
That's probably one of the reasons it's on the schedule.
Right. We got a lot of Wisconsin roots, and
I saw that. I think Milan's brother is going to. He just committed somewhere.
I'm not sure where.
I think it's a D2, but
yeah. But
what else you got on there for basketball stuff? We cover it.
Yep.
So can we do I'm love Iowa high school football. Today was the 8-man semifinals, and Remsen St. Mary's scored on the last drive to beat Bishop Garrigan, Gladbrook, Rhinebeck, beat Lennox. Those are some of the smaller schools in the state. And then the home of Ryland Barnes plays at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning in the Class A semifinals against Madrid if you weren't from Iowa. And then Tri Center plays St. Ansgar. Don't know anything about them. Then we got Lewis Central, who is, when Harlan beat Lewis Central won the 4A state championship one year. Then Harlan won the 3A. And Harlan's kids wanted to put the 4A and 3A state champion on their championship rings. But their coach wouldn't let them because they beat the 4A state champion. They play Pella, and then it's North Scott and North Polk. And North Polk is they won the state baseball tournament this year, and they're having a heck of a year. Grundy Center's back in the Dome again. They've won several state championships. They're playing Wilton. Hinton versus Dyke New Hartford is semifinals on Friday. And then you got the big boys in 5A, Valley, Dowling, Southeast Polk, and Iowa City Liberty, which Iowa City Liberty is only about 5 years old as a school. And then I think Saturday, the 2A is going to be fun because you got Spirit Lake versus Prairie City Monroe, and Van Meter's won a couple state championships over the last couple of years against West Lyon, who is a perennial power in football. I mean, I've been to West Lyon High School. I just am always amazed how flipping big their kids are. So that Spirit Lake West Lyon game that Van Meter West Lyon game could be just phenomenal because those are 2 really good programs. Then we wrap up the semifinals with Wahlert versus Sergeant Bluff Loudon, and then our hometown Humboldt Wildcats make it back to the Dome for 3 out of 4 years. They're playing the team that beat us in the semifinals last time, Mount Vernon, on Saturday, and I texted our head coach, Derek Ellman, and said, it's time to stop screwing around. Let's go win the whole thing. So if you haven't ever been to a high school game in the Dome and watched the excitement of kids playing there, it is a lot of fun. I mean, but I still wish the semifinals were outside. I mean, I know the weather's not gotten really great all of a sudden, but it's a big adjustment for some of these small schools that don't play on a ton of turf to go play, especially the 8-man for crying out loud, they have to go play on turf to win a state championship. It's just a different animal, but it is a lot more comfortable as a fan to go sit there inside and watch a football game than it is But I don't know. Turf scares me in general, just with high school kids that have, don't plan at all. I know Spirit Lake's got turf. I'm pretty sure Van Meter's got turf. West Lyon does not. We don't. So anyway, that's my preview of the Iowa high school football semifinals. They're a lot of fun. It's an exciting time to be one of those players in one of those schools because everybody's excited, and there'll be a lot of people running up and down New 20 from Northwest Iowa, and we got Spirit Lake, West Lyon, Humboldt, Sergeant Bluff, Luton. So if you're a highway state trooper, all you got to do is sit in one of the exits, and you're probably just going to be shooting fish in the barrel because there's going to be so many people going up and down New 20. So anyway, I love high school football. It's I think we need football in this day and age because kids don't get to be guys a lot. It's kind of looked down on sometimes, and I think football is an important thing right now in the world we live in. That's just my opinion. So
and shout out to Humboldt and continuing on the success.
Caden Manson's little brother, Cohen's starting quarterback, playing really well.
Derek Clark's a former Cyclone defense coordinator, and Dallas Clark's Elman's probably one of the best coaches in the state.
Yeah, Derek Elman has just done a phenomenal job. I mean, he is a master at time management. I mean, I've watched him in so many games where we get a lead and he just anacondas you to death at the end and gets a first down and runs the clock down all the way, and got a good kicker. I mean, Carson Rubel has had a heck of a year kicking. So, we're obviously biased to Humboldt, but if you go down the list of the successful football players that have come out of this little town, starting with Bruce Reimers, Ryan Harklaw, Brady Ross played for the Hawks. Tyler Nielsen played for the Hawks. Dallas Clark played for the Hawks. Cade Matson's on the Cyclones right now. Even Harklaw's little brother Nick played for the Cyclones. Am I missing anybody? Hawkwise or
Cody Huntermark?
Cody Huntermark played for the Hawkeyes. Yeah. So we've had a lot of D1 guys come out of here, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun. It's just like the old saying goes, it's a lot of fun to win. I mean,
it is. And we played, and Humboldt teams played Algona with Mansky got obviously hurt, and he'll be back next year for the Cyclones. They have obviously another, I don't remember his name, but there's another player on Algona who's going to be at Iowa State too.
Jack Limbaugh is going to play linebacker.
And then we played Clear Lake, who has a Hawkeye who's going to be.
They have two Hawkeyes, I think, don't they?
Yeah, but the tight end, Thomas Meyer, whatever his name is, who I wish he was going to be a Cyclone because the way he blocks the tight end is just Ben Bramer to a T.
Yep.
And just did it over and over again. But yeah,
because I think Campbell and Ferens were both at the basketball game last winter when Mansky was playing him.
Oh wow!
And when Algona played Clear Lake in basketball. So.
Yeah, it's just fun to have Northwest Iowa kids succeed. And
Mansky's little brothers came in at quarterback. He's pretty good.
Yeah, they damn near went to the bowl game dome without his old brother.
Yeah, it took a miracle drive by Mount Vernon in the end of the game to beat them.
Because I wanted Algona Humboldt rematch so bad. The dome would be so cool because we're so close to each other, same conference.
Some of those road trips last Friday, Mount Vernon had to come to Algona.
Wow.
Solon came to Humboldt.
Yep.
Somebody east of Des Moines went to Lisbon, which is over.
Wasn't that changed? Wasn't it back in the day where they met in the middle?
They also they didn't do neutral fields. They would just by geography. So in the old days, we would have played Sergeant Bluff Luton, and Mount Vernon probably would have played Solon, or we would have played Algona possibly in the semifinal. So they've gone to a pure seeding system now where they take 1 through 16, and except for the first round game where they have one playing 16, I think somebody tell me, I think we would have played Davenport Assumption in the first round, which means they would have had to come to our place, and I think they put them against Mount Vernon, I believe. So. Yeah, it's changed a lot. I think it's much better than it has been, in my opinion. Getting the best 4 teams to the dome versus having some of these teams that meet up that should have a couple of years ago, West Lyon would have played Spirit Lake in the to get to the dome because of geography, and now they could possibly meet in the state championship. That would not have happened 5 years ago. Man, I remember one year that Unity Christian. In the girls basketball, Unity Christian played MOC Floyd Valley. They're in the same town, And back then, the boys, it would have never happened. They would have met somewhere in districts.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but the girls kind of caught on to trying to get the best teams to the well, a little fast. So what are we going to call the well now? It's renamed the Casey's thing.
Yep. Casey's Rewards.
Going to call it the stand in line place, I guess.
It's, do you have rewards? That's what they're going to ask over and over again.
Oh my God! Every place, I am reward carded out. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, there's one the one I live in Clarion. The pen pad thing, the zero didn't work, so the line was just out the door, and
it usually is anyway.
So they're like, say, you have rewards, and they say yes, and then they type, oh, do you have a zero in your number? Everyone basically has a zero in the number,
oh my!
And so they have to type it in, and then do that 9 times in a row. You're there for an hour and a half.
And your pizza's cold by then.
It's a
somebody's bringing a 6-pack up to the to the desk, and they've already drank 2 of them.
Yeah, I could have ate my pizza, got another one in line.
Yeah, that should be Casey's new rule. You stand in line more than
5 minutes if you're done.
If you finish your product by the time you get to the counter, you get it for free. Yeah, that would be a good promo for them.
That would be your Casey's reward right there. But yeah.
All right, well, let's go beat the Bearcats.
Yep.
Give them another reason to talk badly about their coach next week on their podcast.
Yep. Pack the jack. If we can win by double digits and be looking back in here like, oh, we're back in it, baby, and the energy will be back, and just need to somehow squeak out a victory.
The emotional roller coaster of being a sports fan.
All we got to do is win by 1 point.
Spread's 10 points.
For us or them?
For we're favored by 10.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
And I think what I say, Kansas, Colorado. I think Utah, Colorado is 11.5 today, and Kansas BYU is 2.5 at BYU.
That'll be a good game.
They've got a lot of respect for.
So we want BYU to beat Kansas, right?
Do we want BYU to go undefeated?
I think I'd rather play them.
We want Colorado to lose. Yeah, definitely.
Because who the hell is going to guard Travis Hunter?
For Utah?
For us.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything about Utah. I mean, so I don't know who's going to guard it for them either.
Yeah, but appreciate everyone listening. And
by the way, because I'm wearing the white shirt. If you're on YouTube, got more shirts so you can get on there too. Give us a like, give us a review, give us a follow on Spotify. Tell your friends, and hopefully we'll see Jack Trice on Saturday.
Yep, go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.